Now for global business updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning,
Rufai. Let us discuss measuring poverty in Nigeria, because we didn't have enough time yesterday. Rufai, you're just giving me extra work for no reason. All right, there's a tweet. Where's that tweet? Can we float that tweet? This gentleman called Ikenna. So he says, Rotus, you didn't have enough time to fully make your points on the show this morning. That's yesterday. Here's another person arguing the same points as Rufai. Can you clarify your point? And I thought the person is referring to watch this segment and then made their point. But apparently some random individual that made a 29-minute video making the exact same point that Rufai did. So, you know, I don't know who listened to who, whether you watched him, but I think we have one of his calculations here saying extreme poverty, same thing, word for word, saying $3 per person per day, converts Naira for daily understanding, and uses an exchange rate of 1,450. Then you come to the second calculation, right, which is completely flawed. Same thing that Rufai said, 3 times 365 gives you 1,095 per year, and somehow this is the line for the poorest of the poor in Nigeria. The poorest of the poor make ₦1 million a year. It is completely flawed. First off, you cannot use nominal exchange rate. Let's go back to the first calculation. You cannot use nominal exchange rates to determine poverty in Nigeria. I get this over and over again that you're using dollar because basically, listen to what Dr. Abati just said a few minutes before you came to me. He said in Iran, where there are protests, the exchange rate went from 450,000 or so to 1.4 million. So it weakened. Same way in Nigeria, the exchange rate went from 750 to 1450. Exchange rates are determined by different factors: trade, interest rates, demand, and things. They fluctuate. If this weakens further and goes to 2,000 Naira per dollar, that means you have inflated the income of the extreme poor in Nigeria, which is completely flawed. But let me give you the data, the empirical data, which is actually out there. The World Bank uses purchasing power parity. They don't use nominal exchange rates. Nobody does. This is how you determine poverty calculations, because you're basically saying how much does 1 Naira, let me finish now, how much does 1 Naira buy in the United States? You're basically using a comparison, using a basket of goods, because you are measuring consumption, not an exchange rate. And to further the point, a $50 haircut in Washington, D.C. using current exchange rate is 72,500 Naira. Nobody pays 72,500 Naira here. You have to adjust. Down the road, the barbershop that's there, they charge 8,000 Naira, and that's about $5.50. Before that, it was 4,000 Naira. They raised it because price levels changed, because the currency was devalued. Every day you talk about the poor, the average Nigerian, how they are suffering, how inflation makes the Naira weaker. So how can you now use a nominal exchange rate to inflate their income and claim that they make ₦1 million a year? It's completely flawed. There's still more on this. This was the Nairametrics article. For anyone who wants to learn more about purchasing power parity, who lives better? Income of 1.5 million in Nigeria or $1,000 in the United States? They were basically using 1,500 Naira per dollar and comparing how much that figure takes you in the United States versus Nigeria. It's PPP, purchasing power parity. That is how you measure it, using household consumption, not exchange rates. Further to that, and how you don't have this data is incredible to me. This is from the Bureau of Statistics National Living Standards Survey. The poverty line, and I'm going to get into this a little further, the official poverty line is 137,430 per year, according to 2018-2019 price levels by the Bureau of Statistics. Your back of the napkin calculation came out to 1 million for the extreme poor. This is just the line, the threshold that the Bureau of Statistics use. Let's go further to what the World Bank said about this. While poverty estimates at international poverty lines, your $3, $2 or whatever, are useful for cross-country analysis, the national poverty line should remain the focus of Nigeria's policymakers. Nigeria is fortunate enough to have high-quality data from the 2018-2019 Nigerian Living Standards Survey, which enabled a national line specific to Nigeria's socio-economic conditions, to be constructed. They further went on and quoted that figure. This national line was set at 137,430 Naira per person per year in 2018-2019 prices. 2018-2019. We haven't even factored in the devaluation and inflation today. and was launched by Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics in May 2020. The national poverty line has underpinned many policy-relevant reports in recent years, including Nigeria's 2022 poverty assessment, and will continue to be the basis of new analysis going forward. So we're working on 137, but wait. You just made a broad assumption and just lumped all the poor, quote-unquote, poorest of the poor. You basically said the extreme poor make $1 million a year. This is your poverty numbers, and I want everybody to take a look at these dark blue bars. These dark blue bars represent, see the legend here, the number of ultra-poor. So according to, and this, by the way, is the Living Standards estimates here. This is from the World Bank. According to their estimates, that's 2027. Where's 2024? Look at 2024 and 2025. About 60, a little over 60 million Nigerians live under $2 per day. That is what? Lagos, maybe Kaduna and Kano, 3 states together, more than the population of the United Kingdom. You cannot make a broad-based assumption and lump all the poor and ignore the fact that there are people who live even under that particular threshold. But still, the number is 137. What else do we have here? All right, so here's the thing. And can we go back to the calculation? There's something else I wanted to address. That flawed calculation we saw online. This gentleman said 3 times 365 days a year. For the love of Zeus, who works 365 days a year? The folks that you are focusing on here are mostly in the informal sector. Let's get back to the job numbers, the Bureau of Statistics job figures. 93%, this figure, focus on this figure here. 93% of the folks people are talking about are in the informal sector. Most of them don't have health care. So when they get sick, they can't heal themselves. They miss work. There's inclement weather. There is holidays. And also, importantly, the fact that there are raids. The Lagos Environmental Service, we've seen a number of headlines where they go after petty traders, people that are in the informal sector because they're not supposed to be there. So those are the things that interrupt them. And then more than that, they are informally taxed. That is even the most important metric here. We have is a study that was put out that said that, I think, what was the figure? 12 billion, I have to go back and look at it, that non-state actors tax these people. We've seen guys on the road that collect money from Keke Maura drivers, Okada drivers. They charge market women in stalls. So you cannot just take $2, multiply by 365, and assume that every single day of the year, that is what they are essentially working. So look, the point here is that the data there, it is essentially, so please, let's use the correct data. That is how we measure poverty.
It's going to be a danger of a single narrative. Rotus, what was the bone of contention?
Let me finish. Wait, let me wrap up. Let's go to Taiwo
to respond.
Hold on, yeah. Let's wrap up with Taiwo Oyedele's quotes. Because the point was, no, I shared this quote for you yesterday. This was what I started with. The whole point about this is that they're not even going after people at that income level. He said here, there is no taxman in the world that has the capacity to go after everyone. So therefore, if I have limited capacity, what do? I go after the highest yield, which is the highest income earners.
That quote up yesterday, I think you should have just removed that time with your to save time. Really, for the purpose of this argument, number one, the very first thing is you don't have empirical data. Your
From the World Bank and the Bureau of Statistics?
Let me speak. And please do not interrupt me. I beg you. Number one, you don't have empirical data. The poverty line data you quoted from 2018-2019. What was the dollar rate to the naira rate in 2018-2019? You want to calculate that parameter?
Everybody out there can see it.
So you don't have that data spread. If you can give me the 2025 poverty line, then I'll be able to buy empirical data. So I've nullified that one.
So you have your own data?
Wait, now let me finish my argument. Secondly, the $3 per day are what people live on. That's the threshold. In fact, I just check here. There's a global, the World Bank, the International Extreme Poverty Threshold as divided by the World Bank is currently $3 per day, PPP, all right, in purchasing power parity terms. I can even give you a better argument as regards what you're trying to say. There's something called the Big Mac Index by the Economist magazine. Yes, in purchasing power parity terms. But Ayo and Dr. Abati, a quick test. You both have drivers. Ayo, how much do you pay your driver? No, but you pay your driver well over above minimum wage. All right. If you calculate your driver's threshold.
No, we want to know because you're dealing with empirical facts.
Dr. Abati, wait.
Please tell us.
If you calculate,
you were the person who was asking.
Wait now, Doctor. Wait. If you calculate your driver's salary in a year, is it not still above the 800,000 threshold?
Yeah, of course.
That was the
you
argument.
said the poorest of the poor. No, you said the poorest of the poor.
Let me start. please.
said
You see,
the
he always
poorest of the
interrupts
poor.
me.
No,
He always
you will not escape. You said the poorest
Dr.
of the
Save
poor.
me. Save me now. Let me make my argument now. So, your driver, that is the lowest of the rung, you know, of the ladder, and other people out there that face all of this, when you take your tax threshold, it's already even more than what is it called? They are already earning more than your 800,000 tax threshold. That's just it. So, if you say you want to do your analysis and all of that, yeah, the poorest of the poor earn $3 per day. They live on less than $3 per day. And when you look at it and you bring out the data set, you will see that your devaluation has also increased what the poverty line will not be. Because what 100,000 could buy, in 2018-19, can 500,000 buy today? I ask.
No, you can't. Of course.
So, for the sake of clarity, Rotus, it will be best to bring your poverty line in.
Poorest of the poor. We have the tape. I'll play it.
No, wait. I have been able to give you the fact.
We have the clip.
That even the poorest of the poor, those are the down rung of the society, that they earn 80,000 is still beyond the line.
No,
and that's just
the argument is of no use.
No, I'm not arguing.
It's of no use to our viewers.
No, I'm not arguing at all. I just want to clarify something. No, I just want to clarify something, because what people want to listen to is how the tax affects them. I think an important note is that irrespective of how much you earn, what would the 800,000 per annum of your income would not be taxed. So let me just good news to those people who are earning, let's say 1.5 per annum. 1.5, 800,000 will be deducted first of all, which is the untaxable portion of your income, and what is left is what will be taxed. I think that's also an important point to make, so that people know that it's not your full income, even if you earn on the lower rung of the income. I'm being fair. I'm more interested in what people learn.
I don't see all of this is helpful. I think the connecting point is that whether it is in Iran or Nigeria, the people have expectations, and expectations will always rise. In Iran, food inflation today is about 72%. Medical healthcare inflation is about 50%. And the people are concerned. The same way that people in Nigeria are concerned. Will just express concern. And I think that the duty of government anywhere is to continue to deal with these rising expectations. It's not about who wins the argument, who has the better data. The long-term objective is, what do the people of Nigeria expect in 2026? They just want better life, whether it's in Nigeria or it is in Iran. And that is the point, beyond the figures, behind the figures. That's the residual point. You can argue the statistics, the data,
$3 per day,
privately.
No, and the data.
We have to go now.